Fredericksburg, I think, and CWA folks. So thanks for coming and hanging out with us this morning. I'm going to give kind of a two-part little brief talk. One about effectively communicating with staffers and elected officials, and then go over some of Texas Right to Life bills and let you know kind of what the dynamics are at this point in the session in regard to pro-life, pro-family issues. And so I'm going to start and pass it around. I know some of you from weeks past probably have our list, but for some of you new folks, here are our list of bill numbers and those representatives and senators who are carrying our legislation. So first, when you come with your groups and you're bringing people to the Capitol, one of the most important things is letting your representative and your senator know ahead of time that you're coming, identifying yourself as a constituent, and telling their office, hey, I'm coming, I'm watching. And so that's what we always want to encourage you folks as leaders of bringing people to the Capitol and in your communities as telling folks how to best be effective when they come to the Capitol, planning ahead and letting your constituents, letting them know to identify themselves as a constituent. Another part is coming with bill numbers into an office. When you have a specific bill number that you're a champion for, all of a sudden, just that by knowing those 2, 3, 4 little numbers puts you, the staff member, whoever you're speaking to, they say, oh, these people kind of done their homework. They kind of know what they're talking about. And so that's something that's very important when you have lobby days, coming in and saying, House Bill 1648 by Representative so-and-so is something that we're here to talk about today. And that's important. Knowing a little bit about the bills that you're championing for always goes strongly to show that you're engaged and paying attention. And so all of our respective organizations try our very best to equip all of the constituents, equip our folks with what the bills do, what the problems are behind the legislation, what we're seeing, what our solutions are. And so you can find all of that information on our respective organizations' websites, our social media posts, and we try to be very, very diligent in updating folks during the legislative session. Our bills, our 5 priority legislation for Texas Right to Life, are the result of 3 to 5 years of policy research, stakeholder meetings across the state with physicians, nurses, lawyers, medical bioethics, pregnancy centers, a broad coalition of interested stakeholders. And we work year-round, not just when we're in session, with legislators, their staff. So we already, when we come on January 13th, we have our agenda set. And we've been working in the interim, anticipating questions, anticipating research that needs to be done to effectuate these policy goals. All of our bills, kind of some of the dynamics that are unfortunately going on in the legislative session right now on pro-life issues. All of our bills have been referred to the State House Committee on State Affairs, the House Committee on State Affairs. So we've got a myriad of committees, of standing committees in the House. For instance, one of them is the Insurance Committee that deals with changes to the insurance code, insurance regulations. As you can see, I think it's number 2 on our priority list, the pro-life health insurance reform bill. That was referred to insurance initially. That seems obvious to insurance. But last week it was re-referred to state affairs. And so we're seeing this kind of, let's put all of these bills into a committee that's not necessarily has a history of strong pro-life activism or cares about the issues and the policy protections. It's over the rhetoric. And so we're seeing that in our concerns that these bills have all been referred to state affairs. Our denial of treatment bills, the last 2, historically they have gone to either public health or human services committees. They've also been referred to state affairs this session. And so we expect to, state affairs meets on Wednesday afternoons typically, so we are going to be very familiar camping out in state affairs hearings all throughout the session. And some of you will be getting some calls to action to help us convince those members to hear strong pro-life bills and to vote them out of committee. We anticipate that they will get a hearing, and we're kind of unsure whether they will be actually voted on or not. We have one of the bills that we are working very hard this session is requiring patient consent before do not resuscitate order. Right now, state law is silent on whether, when you're in a hospital, in a healthcare facility, whether consent is needed prior to the issuance of a do not resuscitate order. And common sense, most of you think that, sure, I will definitely be asked for a do not resuscitate orders placed for either me or my ailing parent or spouse. There's nothing actually in state law to mandate that question being asked. And so Texas Rights Life want the state of Texas to follow the law in 7 other states that have affirmatively enacted statutes that say, hey, when you're in a hospital, you must secure the consent of the patient or the medical power of attorney prior to issuing a do not resuscitate order. We want to follow that suit. It's not that the other states say, no, you don't need consent. They're just silent, like Texas is right now. They just don't speak to it, haven't noticed that there's a problem. And now we're starting to see that something so simple shouldn't be taken for granted, and that we have to legitimately, affirmatively say, hey, ask our permission first. That bill has also been referred to State Affairs instead of Human Services or Public Health Committee. Let's see, what else? There were bills filed at the bill filing deadline that Tony was speaking about earlier. They are, the very last couple days, these were pro-life bills were filed. They're essentially copycat bills that are weaker. Take the pro-life health insurance reform bill, for instance. There was a bill filed the day before bill filing deadline that simply deals with option abortion coverage out of Obamacare. Texas Rights Life's bill, which is number 2 on the sheet, deals with option abortion coverage out in 3 different ways. In state exchanges for Obamacare, as well as private health insurance plans and ERS for state employees. And so what the bill does is puts abortion out of your standard plan, and they set it in a supplemental, so that you and I, who are pro-life Texans, we don't want to pay a premium for coverage that we're never going to use. And so if someone who's not in line views the same worldview as we do, they are able to purchase a supplemental plan. And that is what our number 2 bill does, the pro-life health insurance reform, is makes abortion coverage available in supplemental plans as opposed to your standard plan that you and I have to pay for when we're not ever going to use nor want to be paying for such coverage. So we're hoping that the strong bill, number 2, will get moving as opposed to simply opting abortion coverage out of Obamacare. We want the whole shebang. Yes, sir.
Are you recommending to vote against that bill?
We are recommending that both bills be voted out of committee. So that's what we are recommending at this point. The politics change daily. We're in talks with different representatives about the possibility of amending. We're afraid that if the weak bill gets out of committee, our attempts at amending stronger language onto the bill will be railroaded, and that we will end the session with mediocre. And with 94 Republicans in the State House, we should not have a mediocre session. That's absolutely not the song that we should be rejoicing with and on Sine Die. So we are going to be doing trying to bring attention and make sure members know the differences in bills. And so that's where you can come in and help us on that, is staying up to date and passing along as constituents, because your voice is much more impactful coming from us awful, terrible lobbyists. And we just, appreciate y'all taking the time to come and be engaged in it. And it's important to understand and dig deeper into the policy issues, since we have theoretically a large number of pro-life votes. We have to have substantive policy change. You can't just go home at the end of session with a checkmark box.
What is the bill number of that second one?
I think it's 1648. I'll pass it out. I think 1635. 1435. Sorry.
That's
It's
the weaker bill.
No, 1435 is the stronger bill.
Yeah, what is the weaker bill?
3130. Yes. For health insurance. Yes. Did everyone get a paper? Did we run out? Because I do think I have some more. Okay. Okay. Yes, sir.
723, we're gonna get that killed.
I'm sorry, I'll have to remind me what 723
That's
is.
the one without her friendly sent. Where they, like, the child could go to the school nurse, tell them she's pregnant, they call an attorney.
Judicial bypass?
Yeah, I guess that's right.
Yes. Yes.
So we wanna get that one killed, and we wanna promote 2531.
Right, absolutely, yes, sir. Absolutely. I'm not so concerned with the bills that have, I mean, to be honest, the bills that are offered by Democrats, not really concerned about them. They're not gonna, I don't think they're gonna get moving. It's bills that are weak in policy that have a good caption and are carried by Republicans that are the scary part for me, for us, but thinking about. Because no, I mean, at the end of the day, no Republican can say, oh, well, we passed, Democrats, and champion that back in their districts as, hey, re-elect me, I did so well last session. So that's, that's not quite the battle we face. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
So a general question, do you have any major opposition groups?
We do. We do. So opposition as a group, as a public group, comes on the last two items of our bill agenda, our denial of treatment reform bills. Historically, we are on the opposite side of that issue as organizations like the Texas Medical Association, the Texas Hospital Association, and the Texas Catholic Conference of Bishops Association. Historically, those are where we fall on the difference. There's an Austin pro-life group who also falls on the opposite end of our denial of treatment reform. And so that is concerning to us, but we know that those are our who we're working against, and we anticipate that. So you'll see, especially a lot of heart attacks against us on the denial of treatment issues. But yes, Mr. Sullivan. Okay. Yeah. So I think that my time's up. Okay.
Thank you.